Welcome to Destination Animation, your trip around the world of cartoons and anime, stop motion and puppetry, special effects and CGI, and everything in between. I am your host, Becca McGraw.
And I'm your host, Carrie Drebla.
And I'm your host, Jason Ott, and today we're talking about Illumination Entertainment's something or whatever movie, The Grinch.
2018. It's
No,
2018,
like I was thinking along the lines of how many movies they made. I forget.
Oh, okay.
I forget.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 Despicables, a Minions, a Lorax, a Secret. Did they do Sing?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Sing. So it's like their 8th movie, I guess? Unless I'm...
Yeah, or 9th if you count, like, Hop.
Yeah, like the 8th distinguished movie in Illumination Entertainment's fine animation canon of masterpieces such as Minions.
Such as they're alright.
They're okay. Actually, how long have they been in the game?
Since, like, 2009, I think, is when they made the company.
Okay, so...
2009, 2008?
Yeah, they were like late 2000s, early 2010s is when they rose to prominence.
Yeah, and, like, for such a, like, young studio, they've really, like, done well for themselves.
They have, absolutely. Yeah.
Because they're really good at marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are obnoxiously good at marketing.
That's one way of putting it.
If you went to the movie theaters at, like, March, you knew this movie was coming out.
I must not have been to the movies in March, because I don't remember seeing a trailer.
They're like, every movie they make is, like, they release trailers for it, like, 6 months in advance.
Yeah, I don't watch TV, and I didn't go to the theater much this year, I guess.
Yeah. They've also been releasing, like, these 30-second specials on YouTube, and, like, on Facebook there's these ads that they're using the Grinch as, like, reactions to things. So it's like, when things aren't going your way, and then it shows the Grinch, like, ah, and pounding the ground.
Oh,
yeah,
we had some of those, like, for the please shut off your cell phone ad in front of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Likewise.
And, like, the internet has taken, like, just the Grinch's face and started making a meme of it, as they do.
I thought that was because of the Super Smash Brothers leak.
Well, that's free marketing, you know?
It is free real estate.
So, like, we all know the story of the Grinch, right?
Do we? I meant to reread the book to get, refreshed to see if it was loyal or not. I just didn't have the time.
Yeah, who has the time to read such an expansive tome?
Such a dense work.
I mean, it's longer than anything Stephen King has ever written.
Of course.
Absolutely. The Stand? Come on.
A Song of Ice and Fire? More like A Song of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's just saying the title. Anyway.
Yeah, we're joshing, unless, actually, Carrie didn't weigh in. Carrie, have you read the book?
Yes, I have. I actually did read it right before we started.
Oh,
neat.
good.
Well, okay, at least I read the text of it. Like, I considered just watching one of those, like, YouTube read-along videos so that I could see the pictures too, but I didn't want to, I didn't have 20 minutes.
Oh, did you guys have, like, those old, like, audio tapes where it was like, oh, you're going to listen to the book so and such. When you hear this, like, sound, you know to turn the page. Beep, let's begin.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was great.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's off topic.
Yeah.
I also had a lot of, like, tape recordingizations of Disney movies, and I still remember quotes from them.
Yeah.
She unwrapped the brightly wrapped box, and out popped an adorable little puppy.
It's an adorable little
dear.
puppy.
She's beautiful. Anyway.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, should we talk about Dr. Seuss a little bit first?
Should we talk about Dr. Seuss doing what?
I don't know. The thing he did.
Well, like...
writing dozens of classic children's books.
Yes, Dr. Seuss was a very prolific child author. He was also a political cartoonist and, and a doctor.
Sometimes both at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Butter Battle book, aka the threat of nuclear...
annihilation.
Mutually assured destruction.
Yertle the Turtle, an allegory for Hitler.
And Horton Hears a Who. Abortion? Question mark?
No.
Okay.
He thoroughly denied that. It was about, according to him, I think it was about, like, Japanese, like, the Americans' treatment of the Japanese.
So yeah, this is Illumination's second foray into the bibliography of the esteemed Dr. Seuss, who is apparently called Dr. Zeus in Canada. I've never heard that, and I'm in Canada. I heard that, like, once, but that's
Dr.
not...
Zeus?
So
what the heck, Canadians?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm not doing that. It's Dr. Seuss. Yes, so they adapted the Lorax And
The Trash Man.
The Trash Man. Yeah. Listen, Danny DeVito as the Lorax is
He's the
brilliant.
best. He's the best part of that movie. Do you know who I am? I'm the Lorax.
Oh, so good. Not the movie.
Yeah, the movie is alright.
It's fine.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah, it's like, as a fan of the original book, I haven't actually seen the movie, but just watching the footage, because the Lorax has kind of become a meme on YouTube. So I've pretty much seen the entire movie despite not actually seeing it, but a lot of the story beats really changed the meaning of the original book in not a good way.
Yeah, and I feel like the framing device of the kid, voiced by not a kid, Zac Efron, it could have been alright if they hadn't added so much to it, because the framing device of the kid going to see the Once-ler and learning the story in that really foreboding, atmospheric dead land. It's really striking in the original book and the original special. And if they hadn't changed the ending, especially if they had let it be ominous and kind of oh, what's gonna happen next?
Jason, that's spoiler territory, and we're not talking about the Lorax, not today anyway. We're talking about the Grinch.
I do feel like it's kind of important to the context of this, just because of Illumination's history with Dr. Seuss, though, where it's kind of
fair enough.
On the one hand, they took the Lorax and turned it into this big theatrical spectacle, and, as a movie, it was enjoyable, but when you look back at the source material, it's oh my god, what did they do to this?
Yeah. And, that's the thing with Hollywood and Dr. Seuss especially. They haven't really hit many home runs, if any. Yeah.
It is hard.
Well, let's see how they did this time. The Grinch. The Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
You dirty, rotten ape. That's all right.
You really are an eel. You're a jicky, jerky jockey. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a moldy black banana with a greasy black peel.
Greasy black peel.
Side note, that song has such great wordplay.
It does.
And they did remake it for this version.
Barely.
Nah. Yeah, a cover.
Yeah, by Tyler the Creator.
Interesting. Sure.
So yeah, this is the technically third time they've adapted the Grinch. Obviously you have the Chuck Jones special, which is a classic. You have the Ron Howard live action movie, which
is a thing.
Some people like it. I like it still, but
yeah, it seems like people who have nostalgia with that movie really like it, but I don't know.
I haven't seen it in years.
See, I'm a curmudgeon-y old goat, so I'm
nostalgia
Carrie,
actually plays a lot into.
Look at the thumbnail, Carrie. I'm the goat.
Oh. That's right. Bex's little thumbnail is goat. So yeah,
you're the cheetah.
No, excuse me. I'm a curmudgeon-y old cheetah.
Yeah.
So meow, meow, meow.
Bah.
And I'm a panda fox who is agreeable.
Good.
Who's nicknamed Pabu.
Pabu.
Whatever.
Yay.
Hey, what about this movie though? Okay, how does it start? Even we all just saw this movie, so I don't know.
Well, it starts how it typically starts. How pretty much every version of this has started. The Who's are getting ready for Christmas. They're all excited, and the narrator's oh, every Who down in Whoville like Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not.
Wait, who's the narrator?
In this version, Pharrell Williams is the narrator.
Yeah. Oddly enough, Pharrell Williams, which
okay.
he's serviceable, but why?
Yeah.
He narrates through the entire movie too, and it's weird because the movie, it's kind of they try to keep the narrator tone of the original Chuck Jones short, but at the same time they cut away from the narration for these extended character fleshing out scenes, so it feels kind of spotty.
When he comes back, it's a little random, oh, you haven't been here for 10 minutes, I forgot you were a narrator. It's
but yeah,
I mean, you had Boris Karloff as the narrator in the original, and then Anthony Hopkins as the narrator in the Ron Howard version. So
where's our horror icon for this one?
Actually, Brad Dourif was approached to be the narrator at one point.
Oh, I would have loved that.
That would have been great.
Listeners, Chucky, Charles Lee Ray's my boy. I would have actually loved that.
Yeah, the dulcet tones of Grima Wormtongue to talk to us about the Grinch.
Oh, jeez. That actually would have been awesome.
Yeah. Barring that, it would have been kind of cool to see, like, Benedict Cumberbatch do it in his natural British accent, but, like, whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk about his voice in a second. I just want to talk about Whoville real quick, because we get to see Whoville, and it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Whoville, Whatville, Winville, Wyville.
Thisville. I am not a big fan of Illumination's character design that they carry between films. Like, they have a look to them. I'm not wild about it. Just something about the faces.
That's fair.
Like the weight of the, you know.
I kind of like it because it's, you know, specifically them. Like,
yeah, it's distinct.
Pixar and Disney films nowadays kind of tend to blend together a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Not like to knock them or anything, but like their character models kind of look the same in CGI. But like when you see an Illumination movie, it's like, oh, this is those guys who made the Minions.
Like, definitely props to having a signature style. I just don't really care for it. Something about it doesn't click with me.
That's fine.
Okay. I guess I didn't notice it.
I don't know what it was, really. I think, like, the faces are kind of bottom-heavy and, like, you know, kind of pear-shaped. And something about it, you know.
Well, like, I really think their design kind of is very Seussian, in a way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like, that's what really helped the Lorax, too, is the design of the world and the characters.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do feel like the bears in that movie were a little bit, like, too clean. Sorry, we're getting off topic. Well, I don't mean to talk about the Lorax this entire thing.
I actually like that you brought this up, though, because the bears in the Lorax were kind of like the minion. The bears were to the Lorax.
The bears and the fish and the goose.
To Despicable Me. There's no character like that in this movie. If any listeners who hate that about Illumination, none of that here. Don't worry about it.
Hallelujah!
Yeah, just power your way through their logo and you're good.
Yeah, they talked about having a Minion short before this, and like they just started the movie and like, oh, no Minion short, okay.
I'm kind of soured against like shorts. You'd think Bao would have cleansed my palate, but what they had in front of Coco last year was nonsense. This is a completely different topic. Sorry, listeners. Back on course.
I too was not a fan of having a 20-minute Tangled short before Coco.
Oh, it was
and I actually liked the Tangled short.
Yeah, it would have been better on TV.
Frozen
short.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen.
I love Tangled. Frozen is fine. Something else I want to point out just about the overall aesthetic of this movie: the snow. Finally, CGI snow that impresses me. I know Frozen.
It looked really good.
Frozen had a lot of snow in it, and they talked it up. Didn't impress me, honestly. This snow looks good.
I haven't seen Frozen in a while, so I can't really compare. Because, like, when I saw Frozen, it looked good to me, but, like...
It looked
in this
right.
movie...
Yeah,
I
in this
thought
movie
it looked
very comparable. Like, it had that similar, like, fluffiness, and it very much felt like the soft, powdery Christmas snow.
See, but that's not what sells me on snow is how crunchy it looks.
Yeah, and sounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had the crunch. Like, when it would get kicked up, to me, it wasn't the powder. I just like how crunchy it was.
Yeah. This is the loudest snow I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, this movie is actually also pretty funny, listeners.
Yeah.
So yeah, Whoville, pretty. Snow, cool. Grinch, what about him?
Lean, green, kind of fat, as he should be.
Lean, mean, green, fighting machine.
I don't think he's gonna fight anybody.
I guess like there's this weird thing that these movies do where like his like legs are like, I don't know, he wears fur pants.
Yeah, like in the first scene we see of him, like he wakes up out of bed and he's got like underwear over his fur, and it's like for a minute I panicked a little. It's like, is he gonna take off his underwear and be naked the whole movie? But no, he puts like pants on, but it's the same fur that's on his legs. I thought
Illumination is gonna give Once-Lair fans what they've always wanted.
I'm so glad they didn't make the Grinch sexy. I was honestly kind of worried about that.
Yeah. They definitely made him look a little prettier than other versions. Like, his eyes aren't yellow and, like, with red irises, and, like, his teeth are kind of fine, but, like, he's not
truly
pretty.
a beautiful Grinch.
Yes, it is a very polished Grinch.
Oh, listeners, if any of you have seen the screenshots of that Game Boy Grinch, that's still the sexiest Grinch alive. I'm going to show you guys after. Remind me to.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to let you guys have that on your mind without context.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know if you've watched the TV special recently, but that Grinch is very, very, like, deliberately gross.
Yeah.
Like, crooked teeth, and, like, the smile goes beyond his gum line, and, it's, like, all of this distortion and stretching and, like, uncanniness, and there's this scene where he, like, turns his head all the way around. And
Like The Exorcist.
Yeah. This movie definitely does not do that. This Grinch, by comparison, is downright pleasant.
Yeah, and like even the Jim Carrey Grinch, which like that movie or hate it, the makeup for him is awesome. Like he is very intentionally ugly in that movie too. Yeah, so this Grinch, like on top of being marginally more beautiful than the other Grinches, it has a better relationship with his dog Max than in most.
He's so cute in this movie. And
Max is just the best.
Illumination did Secret Life of Pets, did not care for the design in that movie one iota.
Mm.
I do want to say quickly, this movie is a huge step up in visual design from, like, The Secret Life of Pets. Like,
Yeah.
Their old aesthetic with that is that, it's like the town seemed very clean. It's like the animals, they were cartoonified, but it's almost like their fur was just, like, too neat, too coherent, and, like, they didn't look like balls of floof that you could actually touch, where in this movie they just got the textures so much better. Like, the fur looks like soft fur that you want to pet, and like the hair tufts and the big warm coats and sweaters, and, you can feel all these things.
Yeah.
They did a great job with that. So kudos to Illumination for stepping up your texturing game.
Yeah, yeah. This is probably their best looking movie yet.
I concur.
So we see the Grinch, pooting around his house, being grumpy and lonely. There's the gag about him not having any food because of all the emotional eating he's been doing. He's just shoveling spaghetti into his mouth. I gotta laugh at the crowd at the theater. That was good.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I do feel like that's the main difference between, like, the original Grinch and this one is, like, in the original he was just a mean guy.
Yeah.
In this one, it's like they really flesh out how he's a curmudgeon and how he's actually, like, emotionally affected by Whoville.
Yeah, he's more like
so than just like, grr, I hate this town because reasons.
He's more like the Mr. Wilson to Whoville's Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was also a review that said that he's the Homer Simpson to Whoville's Flanders.
That's fair too.
Yeah.
Stupid sexy who's.
So he's been emotionally eating, so there's no food left. He wanted to have food to get him through Christmas so he wouldn't have to go into town, but him and Max have to go down to town, as it turns out anyway.
Yeah. This is another interesting, like, diversion they make from other versions. Like, in other versions, the Who's are, like, scared of the Grinch, like the Ron Howard one and, like, the Halloween is Grinch Night one.
Mm-hmm.
But here, he kind of mingles with them, not frequently, but enough that they kind of know who he is.
Who's his neighbor there who loves him?
Bricklebaum.
Mr. Bricklebaum, his best friend.
Keenan Thompson.
Yeah. And he's, like, going through the town, and he's there's Christmas everywhere. I love when the carolers are going after him. They do the West Side Story thing. That was good. This movie's
God
funny.
Rest ye merry gentlemen.
They just play it straight, too. This whole movie is played pretty straight.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Very
that.
much so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, the live action adaptation, like, they kind of changed Whoville to, like, there's this kind of, like, dark materialism in it, where in this one it's just, like, everybody is so, like, cheerful and happy, and it's very genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, the difference is that this Whoville feels a lot more, like, rustic, like it's a village up in the mountains. Like, the Whoville in Ron Howard's is more like a city.
Yeah.
I think, like, it's kind of grimy and smoggy, and I actually kind of like that because I grew up in a city, but whatever.
Yeah. No, this was a very soft Whoville.
Yeah, I'd like to live here.
Interesting, that kind of, I picked up on and Jason picked up on, I don't know if you did too, Carrie, but some of the carols, they talk about Jesus straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
Yes, they do.
That raises some questions.
Like, I didn't actually think about it, like, oh, wait a minute. They mentioned Jesus.
To me, I was like...
Jesus a who?
I guess. Because, like...
Goddo?
Because
Is he a Grinch?
usually animated movies are kind of careful to avoid that kind of thing, but it's like, oh, they just kind of went with it. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, it's
Which
like,
I think is fine. It's Christmas.
Yeah,
Like,
it's fine.
Literally Christ holiday.
Yeah, I think it's
yeah, it makes you wonder how in other fantasy settings they even call it Christmas when, like, Christ isn't a thing,
Yeah.
but whatever.
yeah.
That's being pedantic.
Super don't have a problem with it. Just thought like, oh, yeah, you don't usually see that. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they actually do, like, well, they do God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, and then, like, later in the movie, I forget what the other one was, but there were two, like, Christmas,
Hymns.
like, Jesus Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think the Grinch is Christian, or do you think he is atheist?
He's agnostic.
Is he? Okay. Let's not talk about this anymore.
Anyway. This is also where we get our subplot with Cindy Lou Who and her mom. Mom who?
I think it was
Donna, I think.
Donna, who played by
I don't
Rashida
think they ever
Jones.
say her name.
No,
So
they actually did. Oh, before we
Oh,
talk
well,
about them, though, we should talk about Benedict Cumberbatch, Cucumber Patch as the Grinch.
yes,
What do we think?
he's alright.
He's there.
Yeah, he's okay.
Like, I would have preferred if he had used his natural voice, because that was his own, like, you know, inclination, like, oh, I'm gonna do an American accent, because it would be weird if I was the only British one apart from Angela Lansbury. But
But, like, that's kind of the thing. The Grinch is the oddball.
it would have made him stand out even more from the Who's, like, having a British accent where everyone else in the town doesn't.
Yeah, it's definitely a different take.
Yeah, also his
Yeah.
American accent isn't very good.
Nah.
He makes it work, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, he hits the emotional beats of the story well, but, you know, I kind of wanted more of, like, a real growly, nasty Cumberbatch. Like,
Yeah.
you know, not Smaug,
Yes, Smaug.
but...
Smaug.
Okay.
I vote for Smaug. Smaug.
Shere Khan.
Mm.
Come, Who's, I am fire, I am death.
He lives up in a mountain. That's perfect.
Under the misty
Oh
mountain.
my god.
I take it back. It was great casting.
Yes.
It was inspired.
Yeah. 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 No, I just find he didn't really do anything distinct with it, so it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's fine.
He-
He's been in a Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Yep, doubling Bandersnatch.
That bastard Lunch Clover.
Yes, but yeah, back to Cindy Lou Who. Her design confused me because she looked really young, but she was played
Yeah.
kind of older, and like I couldn't quite figure out what was going on with her.
I imagine she's older than 2.
Cindy Lou
Yes.
Who's no more than 2, though. No, she's obviously like a little kid, but I still found her design kind of leaned younger than her voice
Yeah,
performance.
I would say she's probably younger than 10.
Yeah.
Like, physical-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at the design, like when I first saw Cindy Lou when I was watching it, I was like, oh wow, they actually kept Cindy Lou at the right age. And then I saw her act, I'm like, oh, okay, she's more like 6 or 7, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still found it didn't,
Yeah.
and like I will say, like as the movie went on, it didn't bother me so much. But like in the beginning, I found it kind of jarring. It's like, this isn't quite. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does a very cute design, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, she like, I just thought of this. For some reason, like, the Who's kind of remind me of Fraggles.
Ooh,
I don't know why, I just thought of that.
I can.
They're fuzzy.
They are
Yeah, they're fuzzy.
fuzzy and wholesome.
And they're pleasant.
Jason, you had a really important opinion about Cindy Lou Who's mom.
Oh. Okay. Don't judge me. Did you think she was kind of hot?
She was a cutie. Listen,
Yeah.
there's MILFs in animation. We had a pretty good MILF in animation this year. No one's topping
Yeah.
Elastigirl.
Oh my
This
god.
this is a
Carrie,
whiff.
Carrie, are we making you uncomfortable?
I can agree with Elastigirl. I guess Cindy Lou's mom is like
She's
friendly,
a
nice,
she's
but I don't.
she's a wilf.
Whatever.
Who I'd like to befriend.
If that's your thing, yeah.
If that's your cup of tea.
A wilb.
I ain't into that shaming life.
Anyway, Cindy Lou, her quest in this movie is to give Santa a really personal letter, and like when we first meet her, she's kind of like going down on a makeshift sleigh down into town, and she bumps into the Grinch like head first. And like she's like, "Oh no, I need to get this letter to Santa," and the Grinch is like, "Well, if it's so important, why don't you just talk to him yourself?" And, like, he kind of, like, pieces out, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that sparks her little quest throughout the movie to meet Santa Claus.
Yeah.
After a scene of the Grinch causing misery to people, just for the sake of causing misery.
Yeah. It's very much like the scenes in Despicable Me where Gru is kind of, like, just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Just because he can.
Okay, which, if I can say for a minute, I am glad that they did this. Like,
Yeah.
one of my biggest gripes is that a lot of times nowadays when they're fleshing out villains, they don't show them enjoying being mean. And so you don't buy them as a nasty character,
Yeah.
where, you know, it's like they try to do the tragic backstory and this is why they're so bad, and it's almost like they don't have any villainy in them. Where the Grinch, it's like you can see how being mean to people benefits him emotionally in the present.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
So, yes, kudos,
Well phrased.
Illumination.
Well-
Credit where credit's due.
It's still a little, like, foggy a bit when they do try and go back into his, like, past, and we see him as a little kid alone in this spacious orphanage. Like, is he the only one in there, or what?
Yeah, I don't know about the backstory. Like, I get it. It's weird. I feel like they didn't quite strike the right balance there. It's just kind of there
Yeah.
and gone, but on the other hand, you wouldn't have wanted that aspect to overstay its welcome. I don't quite know what the
Yeah.
balance
Yeah.
there would have been.
And by the way, they do start going into the backstory as soon as the Grinch is heading home. Like, the narrator
Yeah.
just randomly goes into it without much prodding. And
Mr.
it's
Four.
done in, like, the Seussian rhyme. Remembered that Christmas from so long ago. And it goes into the backstory.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Like, he almost has kind of a PTSD thing with Christmas, because,
Yeah.
like, he associates it with being alone, and, like, you know,
Which is,
that's why he hates it, I guess.
yeah, it's valid. I feel like wasn't quite balanced quite right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like this backstory better than the Ron Howard movie. Like, that one is like, geez, the Who's are jerks.
Yeah.
They deserve
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. I feel like it could have been, like, more of a balance. Like, maybe somebody was a jerk to him as a kid, but, like, the Who's now are all, like, fine. They all seem to like him, at least.
Yeah.
Especially
I'm not even a
Bricklebomb.
fan of the somebody was a jerk to people when they were young storyline, because in my experience, when people treat you like a jerk, it tends to be a more withdrawing experience, not a I will take revenge experience.
Yeah, and like,
Yeah, that's fair.
having him be like that isolated as a kid does reflect, he's isolated up in the mountain now, and Christmas is
Yeah.
about being together and stuff.
Again, I don't think they necessarily needed the backstory. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people who are lonely in the present for no, like,
Yeah.
they were a lonely orphan wooby reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are plenty of people who don't like Christmas because, like, they don't have a tragic backstory because of it. They just don't like it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun.
What happens next in the film? Oh, I gotta say, so okay, Cindy Lou Who's big Christmas wish is her mom is super overworked. There's like 2 baby twins in the house, no dad in sight, and Cindy Lou Who just wants her Christmas wishes for her mom to be happy. Super wholesome. I was
That's
scared.
sweet.
I was so scared they were gonna pair her with the Grinch.
I actually kind of got those vibes too. Like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna turn up. Like the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who's mom are gonna bang.
Yeah. Like her happiness.
My mind
will
never
be in a
went
man.
there.
It didn't go there. Yeah, it's just we can get to that when we get to that.
Oh yeah, also, side note, Cindy Lou's mom apparently is a nurse. Like, we see
yeah.
her
Oh.
coming home wearing scrubs
That's true.
after
That's
a
what she
long
does.
night shift. So, yeah.
We don't really focus so much on her, so much as like Cindy Lou Who trying to like do right by her.
Yeah.
So like, it would have been kind of nice to flesh out some of the Who's a little more.
Yeah,
Like-
they do definitely, like, elaborate on a few of the Who's. Like,
Yeah.
particularly Cindy Lou's family and also, the Grinch's, quote, best friend character.
Bricklebomb.
He's the best
Yeah,
character.
Bricklebomb.
He's funny. He's like, oh, that's my best friend. The little posse that Cindy Lou has is kind of cute too.
Bunch of little punks. Okay,
Yeah.
but what triggers the Grinch's crusade against Christmas? It's
Oh, like the mayor, voiced by Angela Lansbury, very underused, decides that this Christmas is gonna be 3 times bigger, and like this like whole thing is like, well, if you will,
The Grinch is
triggering
woken
to him.
up in the morning by the sound of very loud choppers carrying, like, this 200-foot Christmas tree past his cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's just too much, man.
That's too much, man.
Yeah, he tries to destroy it. He fails, and like that's it. That's...
You know what? This scene, I don't know why, it reminded me of the scene in Batman Returns where like the Christmas tree lighter lady gets like knocked off a building by these like bats, rogue bats, and falls on the light and lights the tree. And the Grinch does pretty much the exact same thing. Coincidence? I think not. This movie is scored by Danny Elfman too.
Oh yeah, I liked the I like the musical score. The songs, meh.
Yeah, like
Concur.
a lot of them are just kind of jazzy and don't really mesh with the tone.
Yeah,
I feel
the orchestral score though it borrows a lot from like the original special, but it's very nice.
Yeah, it's very Elfman Christmas music.
Yeah.
I had the feels, so that's usually a sign that the orchestral score is working.
Yeah. So he decides, man, nah, not putting up with this, so he's gonna ruin Christmas. Closest we get to a Grinchy grin. Wasn't the twisty smile I was hoping to see.
It wasn't the classic Grinchy grin. But yeah, what follows the next couple days, and I really like this actually, is that it spends a lot of time focusing on how Grinch like schemes everything out, like makes these gadgets and steals this sled and modifies it. And gets this reindeer named Fred.
The Grinch is actually a surprisingly good inventor. My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I wish I lived in that cave.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, like he's got a coffee. He's got this like super complicated coffee maker and
that his dog
all these trap doors and elevators and
like I guess he's always been a pretty good inventor, like in every thing that has him, like the original book and the special and like their Ron Howard movie, like they all portray him as a like MacGyver.
Yeah, the original book doesn't really show that much. It's just
well, like he needed to make that sleigh.
There was one special in particular that I was thinking of, The Grinch's The Cat in the Hat, which was like a mid-'80s Dr. Seuss special.
I'm sorry.
Which the Grinch has all these super complicated inventions.
He does.
Like...
Stop right there, Carrie. He does what to the cat?
You thought
Grinches.
that Batman v Superman was the top versus thing?
The most ambitious crossover of all time.
No,
I'm
the Grinch
serious.
versus
This
the
is
Cat
a
in the
real
Hat.
thing.
I believe you.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
TVMA,
Basically,
right?
yeah. The Cat in the Hat is like the cheery, happy character, and the Grinch can't stand all that cheer and happiness, and so he decides to make the Cat in the Hat's life miserable until the Cat in the Hat like tries to ungrinch the Grinch. Quote.
Oh, he uses the Grinch's mom. It is Batman v Superman.
What?
He guilts the Grinch by talking about the Grinch's mom. It's Batman v Superman.
Excuse me?
It's the best.
Okay, we're watching this. We're watching this later.
Yeah.
But in any case, he has all these complicated inventions. Like, he has a dark house, which is like a lighthouse, but it makes dark. And so the cat can't see his mitten in front of his face.
That doesn't make sense, Carrie.
Well,
I know it doesn't make physical sense, but whatever.
Tell me nonsense.
What was the other one? Let me find it in my notes, because it's a
it
weird
was
name.
a complicated one.
Very much. The name of the other invention was the acoustical anti-audio bleeper.
That's what we use when we swear in the podcast, listeners.
Yes.
But yeah, and by the way, Dr. Seuss actually worked on a lot of the animated specials from the 60s, 70s, 80s. So, like, a lot of the names that they came up with, and, like, the songs from the original Lorex special were written by Dr. Seuss. So, like, and Dr. Seuss helped with the script of the original Grinch. So, that one had pretty much a perfect, like, Seussian tone throughout because the actual author helped on it. This one... They do try to do the same Seussian rhyme scheme, and, well, they're trying.
Well, Dr. Seuss couldn't help because he's dead.
Aw.
I know, sad.
I think his widow is still alive, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who banned studios from doing any more live-action Dr. Seuss movies after The Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers.
You can't defend that movie. I can defend the Ron Howard Grinch movie, but you can't defend that. Can that?
I saw that in theaters. I remember that. Oops.
I haven't yet. I don't think I want to.
Fair enough. Hey, what happens next in the movie?
Yeah, like the whole next couple days, because I think it's really clever. They start the movie on December the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
First day of winter solstice. And then the next couple days are the Grinch, like, scheming everything out and all that. Like, going on a test run with Fred, the fat reindeer.
The fat reindeer.
Yes, Fred is a new character.
Listeners, you probably saw Fred in the trailer. He's cute. He probably looked like he'd be the annoying sidekick or something, but no, don't worry, he's cute.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was scared of that when I saw it. I'm like, oh great, they added a new character who's going to be like the minion of this movie. But no, he's not. He's just a big, lovable, soft boy.
Yeah. It feels like they learned their lesson from the Lorax and like kind of toned down on the like pure comic relief side characters.
And like I didn't know what to make of it, because like, oh, he's got a reindeer character now, so is Max not going to pull the sleigh? But in the end, Fred leaves, goes back to his family, back to that theme of loneliness, and yeah, it is Max who pulls the sleigh.
His wife and son show up while, like, right after they do the test run, and they, like, kind of snuggle, and, like, the Grinch is, like, aw, man, and releases him without much fuss.
I relate to the Grinch. I also like animals better than people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reindeers are better than people.
That's once again true for all except whose. Also, in between all this, we have Cindy Lou and her friends kind of like plotting out how to capture Santa so that Cindy can talk to him when he shows up
doing
on
their
Christmas
own little
Eve.
scheme.
Yeah, I did feel like that part of the movie dragged a bit. That was the only one where I'm like, okay, can we get on with the plot? But
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna happen when you're adapting such a short book into a large movie. You have to pad it a bit, so it's like it's understandable and it's not a huge distraction.
Yeah, I feel like they padded it out a little better than the Ron Howard version.
Definitely, if you're gonna pad it out, I think Cindy Lou Who is the way to do it.
Yeah, because a lot of it is based on like the planning of how he's gonna steal Christmas. Like in the Ron Howard version, like it's kind of an afterthought until like the third act kicks in. But even then, with the actual stealing of Christmas in this movie, it's kind of quick.
Yeah,
very quick.
I really liked this sequence. I wish it was longer.
Yeah.
Like when it
it looks very nice.
When it got into montage mode, like of them like crossing the rooftops with the sleigh and the gadgets, it was fun. I don't know if it was 5 minutes long.
Yeah, it felt really quick.
Yeah,
actually, I think it was almost like it might have even just been the same length as the one in the cartoon short, because that was where most of that short's length was from the Grinch going and stealing, and they were doing the "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch" song with all of these. Then they were like showing all of the ways that he stole things, and like the trains going into the bag and using the magnet to pull the stockings out, and that was like where most of the detail of that short went.
Yeah,
like plucking out individual like petals from a flower. Like, what are you doing? You're such a jerk.
You're on a time crunch, Mr. Grinch.
You're on a time crunch, Mr. Grinch. You need to move along. We have fun here.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And Max, the best dog a Grinch could have. And he stands by his Grinch the whole time. Max doesn't really have opinions, I guess.
He doesn't.
Nah,
like,
he's just a good dog.
Yeah. I think he kind of does, like, have some opinions of his own. Like, when the Grinch is kind of being mean to Cindy Lou at the beginning, Max kind of looks at him like, come on, dude.
Well, all dogs love children.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a couple of sad scenes where, well, not really sad, but, like, you can see that Max wants more attention, and the Grinch is kind of, like, doing his pouty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he still does love Max, and Max loves
being
him.
all melodramatic, playing the organ in his
Oh, yeah.
Like... Like, we get the, like, in the beginning, not to go back really long, but, like, we get the slow zoom in on the cave and, like, organ music playing. I'm like, are they gonna show him playing that music? And then, like, they didn't, but then, like, 5 minutes later, he's playing the organ. I'm like, oh, okay.
And Max playing his drums.
Oh, yeah, that's the scene where Max is disappointed.
Oh,
yeah.
And the Grinch calls him a bad drum player. Come on. He's just being a cute doggy. Don't hate the cute
Yeah.
doggy.
Don't get your dog a drum set if you don't want him to play it. It's not a people drum set. It's a dog set. Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
then he gets
go ahead.
caught. He gets caught by Cindy Lou who is no more than
Yes.
2. Well, she's probably a little more than 2.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did keep the essence of... This is the thing about the movie in general. They kept the very, like, essence, heart, and soul of the story.
Mhm.
So, like, all of the story beats that you're expecting to happen do happen, and they do them quite well, in my opinion.
I
Yeah, and
agree.
like they aren't tied to the original dialogue because like in that scene where Cindy like goes to meet him and she sees that he's stuffing the tree up the chimney, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing with the tree?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm taking it to the North Pole. I'm just gonna be real quick." Like they don't do the rhymes, which is a little disappointing, but like at the same time, it's kind of
it
like,
would be
I
weird.
guess,
Yeah,
neat.
again,
It's kind
that's
of
one
neat
of
that
my
they.
criticisms, is how they kind of slapdash back and forth with the rhyme scheme.
Yeah,
So, like, this is one of my main criticisms with the movie, is that I feel like sometimes they're trying to capture the spirit of the original short to a fault, where it's like they were almost afraid to do their own thing. I don't want them to do their own thing,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like they were too afraid to do anything different. And so, like, you have this half Dr. Seuss, half original stuff. So that
Yeah.
could have been a bit better, and this scene is just one of those examples where, like, they have the rhyme scheme talking about,
yeah.
Pharrell Williams inserting himself, and hey, we still have a narrator. There's this guy
Yeah.
talking, okay, and
Pharrell.
it's in Seussian rhyme, and then like the Grinch is talking to Cindy Lou, and it's just dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where Cindy finally tells Santa, quote unquote, that she just wants her mom to like have some help around the house and be happy. And this even touches the Grinch.
It gives him pause.
Yeah, and like she mentions that what she likes about Christmas, like, because they do go into the whole like what he doesn't like about Christmas, like the who's feasting and feasting, and singing around the tree. But like Cindy gives him a little other perspective on it from the other side, like, oh, when you close your eyes and hear those people singing, your troubles seem to go away.
She's a pretty poetic child.
Yeah, she can be deep.
Maybe she should have been a little older.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, how old was Taylor Momsen when she was in that movie?
I don't know.
Was she the actress in the live action one?
Yeah, Cindy Lou.
I assume she was no more than 2.
Yeah. Have you seen her now? She looks great. Anyway.
Whoa. Yes, so the Grinch has stolen Christmas, but he's not so sure anymore. So
Yeah.
they're taking it up the mountain to throw off the cliff and destroy Christmas once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like in the original, spoiler warning, like in the original short, he looks down, and all the Who's down in Whoville, the tall and the small, they're sad because Christmas is gone. But you know what? That's fine, because they have each other.
Yeah, that's a nice thing that this movie does. Like, it doesn't, like, ruin the overall impact that the original book and the special had, where they all just come out with, there's no decorations at all, but they're still like, oh, yay, Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
the Ron Howard movie was trying to make a point about, like, commercialism and such, and, like, it's...
Did y'all know that
how-
the Grinch is anti-capitalist? He probably is.
he follows the teachings of Karl Marx.
He probably does, honestly.
Eviscerate
like-
the proletariat.
But yeah, the Ron Howard movie had a point to what it was trying to do, and like, you could argue whether it succeeded or not. But like, for this movie, they went with the original message, like, oh, just because we don't have our things, that doesn't mean that we don't have like what
Each other.
Christmas is all about, each other, yeah. So that's what makes them all sing around the tree, which I think still had all its decorations. Like, you kind of missed something there, Grinch.
But yeah, so the Grinch stands atop his cliff. He closes his eyes and just listens. And I wish this went quick.
Yeah, it did.
I wish we could have had a bit of introspection.
Yeah, I feel like we could have had more like internal struggle after Grinch kind of hears Cindy Lou's side of the thing. Like he has a moment where he's like, "Oh, well, what do you know?" Then maybe like shakes it off, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And like then
Like,
he goes up and like takes a moment, like, "What the heck?" And then like you have a good solid like minute or whatever, and then like he closes his eyes, and like then he has that maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store realization.
We do see his heart grow 3 sizes that day.
Mhm.
I think this might be the rare case of where show don't tell maybe needed to be reversed. Because it's like, you kind of put all that character development into that image, but it's like, okay, where's the actual character development, though?
Yeah. Like, it's not so much that his heart was 2 sizes too small, it's that he was just kind of a jerk.
But, like, because his issue isn't so much that he's a jerk, it's that he's lonely, which makes him a jerk. Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, focus more on the fact that he sees them all together, loving each other, even though they don't have their things. Mm-hmm. I think that would have tied in a little more to his struggle. They could have done this with a little more nuance.
Yeah.
I still felt the feels very much during this scene.
Oh, I did too, honestly. Like, I got a little choked up.
What kind of sold it for me is when he actually goes back down, after he saves this time when he saves the presents from being destroyed, Fred comes back and helps him.
Yay!
Fred and
all
his
we
entire
have
family.
in life are the connections that we make, after all.
Yes.
That's a BoJack callback, listeners.
This is one of the cases, they completely changed the original story with the Fred thing. I like it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was a legitimate addition to the story there.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of how, his little act of kindness before resulted in, so it ties it together more, almost.
Yeah.
And, like, if you watch the original special, the epiphany just happens like that. He looks down and he's angry that they're not angry, and then all of a sudden his heart grows, and that's it.
Yeah.
Moral. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This actually really worked for the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree.
But, like, speaking of BoJack, there's this bit where he goes down into the town and, like, with all the gifts and such, and he's like, I'm the one who did it. I took Christmas because I wanted to fix something in me that was broken, and I thought that stealing your Christmas would do that, but it didn't. I'm sorry. That kind of reminded me of, like, BoJack a bit. Like, trying to fix what was broken inside him, but obviously it doesn't. This movie doesn't go that far into that.
No.
And I kind of wish it did, but, like, just that, like, extra line and, like, how the Who's don't really forgive him, and he kind of, like, walks off of it back to his mountain. Like, that was really emotional.
It's a really good angle, and I agree. I wish I had done a little more with it.
Yeah, like if they had focused a bit more on that broken side of him, that like, oh, something inside me is broken, and I need to do this to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe that would have fixed the like realization scene a bit too. Like maybe if he had gotten off the sleigh and like been like breathed in a bit, like I did it, and then like kind of like took a moment and like I don't feel anything.
Oh, that would have been good, actually.
And then, then he's like, oh, I'll feel it when I see those Who's all sad. I'll feel it then. But then they're all happy and like, oh, I don't feel anything.
That's actually really good, and I wish
Why
I'd done that.
Why are they happy?
That would have
really
Write it down, movie deal it, book it.
Yeah.
But, so he just goes back to being alone in his cave, because, I mean, that didn't fix it, so what will, whatever. He's just going to be a hermit forever.
Yeah.
But then there's a knock on his door.
With his cute animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
He does give Max a little chew toy, new chew toy.
A little Christmas present. But then there's a knock on his door, and it's Cindy Lou Who inviting him to dinner, to Christmas dinner.
She says, I want you to be my new dad.
Thank God she doesn't, honestly.
And the Grinch says, I want to meet your mom.
I was worried right up to the end they might even have a moment where they kind of like make eyes at each other. They didn't. Thank God. I did not want that.
Yeah, she invites him to come down. He does eventually. Like he has a tie on, which is funny. Just a tie over his like fur
and pants.
And and like he has this little moment of hesitation where he's like, "Oh, this is dumb. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this." And like he just goes for it, rings the doorbell. He's like, "I did it. Like that's relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a fan of. I do feel like they nailed the emotions.
Yeah.
Like, the emotional part of this, where it's, like, how it feels to be alone, how it feels to have, like, that anxiety of, oh my god, I've been alone for all this time, I don't know how to do this anymore. Spot on.
For 53 years, he's put up with this now.
Yeah. He looks pretty good for 53. Anyway.
Well, how old does a Grinch live for? How long?
Good point. This is a tangent, but that mayor, voiced by Angela Lansbury, 90-year-old Angela Lansbury looks way younger than she sounds.
That was a little weird. But yeah, so he comes into dinner, and it's fine. No one's mad at him. No one's... he feels a little awkward, but it's
And his
fine.
best friend is
His
there.
best
Yeah,
friend.
Pokemon.
and you know, he's polite, and he, you know, helps out Cindy Lou's mom, and
Yeah, that was the payoff, I think, to that whole thing.
yeah.
It wasn't a supposed romance. It was just him kind of being nice and helping her out.
Yeah. And then they all sit around dinner, and they give him the honor of cutting the roast beast, and he has his little speech, and it's really, this movie's wholesome, guys.
Yeah, it's cute.
100%.
Yeah. I didn't expect it. I
Yeah.
Did we all pretty much expect it to be bad?
I expected it to be like, because I don't hate Illumination movies overall. Even Minions, I feel like is okay for its intended audience. Like, it's not for me, but it has some funny moments and some good parts about it. But like, Illumination movies are, with the exception of Despicable Me, they're average.
Yeah, like I haven't seen much Illumination. I like Despicable Me. It's fine, but I didn't see any reason for like this movie to be made. Why do we need a Grinch remake? What are they going to do to make it foolish? I thought mediocre at best, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to like it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to like it as much as I ended up
Yeah, like, I like it almost on par as much as I did the first Despicable Me.
How about you, Carrie?
Yeah, I was thinking almost the same thing. Like, well, I don't know. Going into it, it's like I was cautiously optimistic but had serious reservations just because I knew what the reputation of the Lorax was.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this could either be very good because the Grinch is a character kind of like Gru, where he's a curmudgeon and he likes causing people torment, but then he learns to love, and like, they did a really good job with that in Despicable Me. Like, I actually really like that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the sequels, but the original,
Yeah.
I really liked. Especially because I like quoting the, "It's so fluffy! I'm gonna die!"
Yeah. Yeah.
Agnes is adorable. But in any case, so I had faith that there was the potential for them to do well. And I was very happy with what I saw. Like, I can nitpick it, but as a whole, I believe that they did a very good job of keeping the story faithful while, you know, also developing it. And, you know, I feel like this is an audience-pleasing adaptation. Like, it feels like a good adaptation of the story that most people are going to watch and have their heart warmed and enjoy. And, like, you can definitely nitpick it. A lot of time, they didn't really take a lot of the risks that the Chuck Jones short did with, like, kind of an out there style with all these wild angles and, like,
it didn't
disturbing
take the risk.
motions and things.
It didn't take the risk of Jeffrey Tambor making out with Max's butt.
Oh my god. The less said about that, the better.
Oh boy.
But yeah, enjoyable overall, and I do think most people going to see this are definitely going to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly
Like,
surprised.
It's not like a, you know, if you're going in to look for problems, you're gonna find them, but, like, it's cute. It's fine for kids. It doesn't, like, have much that is bad for them. Like, you could argue with the Lorax a bit, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's fine. It's fine.
It's totally fine. Yeah, if you, like, if you heard about this movie and you're like, I don't know, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Like, I guess this is where we're going to say, do we recommend it or not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, is it worth the price of a theater ticket?
I'd wait for, like, a matinee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it, like, I deliberately went to the first showing of the day, so it's $6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hooray, Cinemark.
On the cheap.
I used a free
On
movie
the cheap.
pass. Yeah. Catch it on TV. It'll be on TV in a few years, I'm sure.
Sure.
Pretty much guaranteed. Like,
Yeah.
that's why you make holiday movies, because they replay them every year.
Mm-hmm.
Totally passable movie. Pleasantly surprising. You'll probably like it. Don't feel the need to, like, go out of your way for it, though, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a decent adaptation. I don't think it really needed to exist.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they didn't add a whole lot to it, but it's just enough that you can watch it and enjoy it and be glad that you saw it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, hey, listeners, this is the first time on Destination Animation, whatever we call ourselves, where we're talking about a movie that just came out that we all saw in theaters. So I want to try a new little thing where we're going to talk about some of the trailers we got.
Yeah.
So some upcoming
Yes,
movies.
let's talk about those trailers.
Just a few quick thoughts.
So, here's one we might have all got. How to Train Your Dragon 3?
Oh,
Yes!
Oh my god.
Give me
Yes.
now!
Oh, man.
Want! Must have!
How to Train Your Dragon.
The thing they do where, spoilers for How to Train Your Dragon 2, get out of here, Stoic is dead. Gerard Butler's character is dead, but, like,
They have a floor.
they have him, like, with his young Hiccup son, like, saying, "Oh, this is your destiny, son, to find the hidden world of dragons." I make him sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, listeners, I love How to Train Your Dragon. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And
Yeah, it's so good.
the first line in the first trailer that, like, there were dragons when I was a boy. Like, my heart immediately turned to dust. I'm not prepared for this movie.
Oh.
I have a few months, and maybe I'll get there, but I don't think I will. I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah, it's
I
definitely.
know, same.
It's definitely looking like the finale of a trilogy, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because how Hollywood tends to make everything go on forever nowadays, but
Mhm.
having a definite end to things is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And this one looks like they're going to, the source,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
They're gonna go big, and we're all gonna go home in tears.
in tears.
Yeah, the only part of it that I wasn't sure about was the villain, but we'll see. I'm sure they'll do
Yeah.
something with the
Yeah,
villain.
he kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
the villain in the second movie, but we'll see what
A
happens.
little bit.
Likewise.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But yeah, the dragon designs, and I am definitely curious to see what they're going to do. Apparently the plot is going to be that, the dragons are taken away from them, and... Whew.
Yeah.
Who know?
I know my heart is going to be, breaking in two because I love the dragons!
Oh, yes. Oh, Toothless.
Yes. Okay, here's a weird one that I saw. Spies in Disguise.
I didn't see that.
I did not get that trailer.
Okay. Here's the trailer, my friends. Here's the trailer. You got this, spy, played by Will Smith. The animation looks kind of neat, I will say.
Okay, I'm looking at the poster.
I don't know who's doing it, though. Let me look at y'all.
20th Century Blue Sky. It's Blue Sky.
Blue Sky. Yeah, the animation looks neat overall. But, so you see this guy, he's, doing cool spy things, whatever. But then, probably around, the midpoint of the trailer, he turns into a pigeon.
Oh. Super Spy,
And,
Super Fly.
This scientist, voiced by Tom Holland, is oh, it's the perfect disguise. No one suspects a pigeon. And he's oh, turn me back into a pigeon. Will Smith. And, there's this bit where, he's he's freaking out, and the scientist is look at me. I can't not look at you. I'm looking at my butt, and I'm looking at you. Going, weird fish eyes lens, pigeon eyes. It's a weird looking movie. What is this movie?
What?
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm looking at some screen caps.
This movie looks weird.
I like the design of it.
Yeah. Now, this is a story all about how I got turned into a pigeon.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's that movie.
What other trailers?
There was one that I had never heard of before called Ugly Dolls.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah,
got a
I
trailer
got that
for.
too.
Which apparently is a pop musical written by it has songs by Kelly Clarkson and a bunch of other pop singers, and I don't know what to think about this one.
It looks kind of like Trolls, a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like it's based on a toy line. I don't think they look ugly. I think they look pretty cute.
Yeah.
That was my thought exactly. I'm what? These aren't ugly. These are adorable. They're fuzzy,
Yeah.
and, they, have the derpy face, and, I don't know, it's wabi-sabi cuteness, where their imperfections make them adorable.
I like...
Yeah, and go ahead.
I like the cat one. Voiced by Pitbull, is it?
Yeah.
Is that the one who Pitbull plays?
I think so.
Very good.
But
Yeah, and that's where my negative expectations come in, is all the celebrity voice actors.
the angle I thought they were gonna go with is they're ugly characters, and someone pretty quote unquote comes to the village hi, and then they're all freaked out or something. But that is not the angle they're going with.
They're doing the opposite.
Yes.
Uh,
So we'll see about that.
jukebox musical film.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to talk about that, but it's
No.
it's a thing that I saw in the theaters
Yeah.
and didn't know existed.
What studio even is this? STX
I
Entertainment?
have no idea.
I have no clue. I've never heard of them
STX.
before.
They don't usually do animated movies, I don't think. What do they do?
Filmography.
STX Entertainment. I feel like they're mostly behind, like, indie movies. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking somebody else.
Yeah, they're kind of
Let's
all
see.
over the place. They got a Netflix show, a YouTube Premium thing, National Geographic. I don't know.
Well, we'll have to see.
Yeah,
Yes.
always room for more studios making good cartoons.
Yes, there was also Lego Movie 2.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that either.
Aw.
I only got like 3 trailers.
But, like, have you seen the trailer
I got,
for
like,
Lego
10.
Movie 2?
What?
10.
We had 20 minutes of trailers and
Wow.
previews and ads before
Gee
the
whiz.
movie started.
Jeez.
Gee whiz.
Thanks, American capitalism.
Yay.
Anyway.
I don't remember having 20. Jeez.
Yeah, I just had Ugly Dolls, How to Train Your Dragon, and what was the other one I said I had?
I didn't.
Oh, Secret Life.
Wreck-It Ralph 2?
I didn't get that. I
Oh, no.
got Secret Life of Pets
I didn't
too.
get... Oh, yeah, Secret Life of Pets 2.
Oh, yeah, Secret Life of Pets
That-
2. I kind of have opinions about that franchise.
I've never seen the first
Yeah.
one. I thought the trailer was cute.
The first one is...
I like the cat.
Average.
I like the cat who.
Yeah, she's cool.
No, not the fat cat. The cat at the vet who's like, oh yeah, I bring her a mouse, she throws it in the garbage. I give her a bird, right in
yeah.
the trash. What do you want from me, mother? Is nothing I do good enough? That's relatable. I have cats.
They also have recast the main character, because he was Louis C.K. in the first movie. I wondered how they were going to do that,
Oh,
and
Lord.
they got Patton Oswalt, it sounds like, to replace him.
Good move.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like that franchise, when they're making jokes about the nature of pets, it's enjoyable, but as an
Yeah.
actual exercise in plot and character...
It's Toy Story, but with pets.
Yeah.
That was the first movie.
Yeah,
And with way worse writing.
and like I said
Yeah.
before, I don't care for the design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
like,
not a fan of the designs at
I
all.
don't care for the approach they're apparently going to take, where every single character, and this is a large ensemble piece, listeners, every single character is going to have their own trailer, apparently. So, assuming
boy.
this movie comes out in, like, December, every month on the month we're going to get a new character trailer.
Wow.
Thanks, Illumination.
Yay.
Yay. Marketing.
Yes.
Yep.
Alright, that's all the trailers I can remember.
Yeah, so
Wreck-It Ralph 2,
I didn't.
I got a
didn't get
trailer
that.
for,
I didn't.
which
That-
we will be reviewing that movie in a few
Yes.
weeks.
They don't really
Ralph
usually,
breaks
like,
the internet.
yeah, they don't usually do, like, trailers for movies that are coming out, like, that same month, for me.
Well, apparently Cinemark does. I guess
I
that's
have
how they
Cinemark.
keep ticket prices so low. So
Yes.
I paid for my $6 ticket with watching a bunch of ads.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Anyway, like, my reaction to that trailer is, like, I'd seen TV spots and, like, the initial YouTube trailers, and I was afraid that the movie wasn't going to have much of a plot. Like, all they showed was Ralph and Vanellope in the internet, like,
Just playing
and
around.
parodying the internet and parodying Disney, and Cinderella getting ready to cut him, breaking her shoe.
That was great.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the princesses in this movie. I love Disney. I
Yeah.
love princesses. My girl Rapunzel.
There
Yeah.
are definite stakes, though, in the newer trailers that have come out, so that's
Yeah,
nice.
like-
I was worried it was going to be mostly, like, just mocking internet culture, which is fine, but, like,
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a slightly better emoji movie.
In this
We gotta
case,
watch
like,
the emoji
they actually
movie.
showed, oh my gosh, Sugar Rush is getting unplugged. We have to go to the internet to find the replacement piece. And they actually show them going, and, like, Vanellope having, like, this moment where she's like, but if I'm not a racer, what am I? And so it's kind of like, all right, this movie is going to have very good emotional stakes. It's still Disney being Disney. I'm
Yeah.
expecting to cry my eyes out
Oh.
as usual. So
Neat. Well,
Yes,
that's,
we shall
that's
see.
coming out in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Thanksgiving. So yeah, the
Neat.
21st.
So we'll be seeing
Yes.
it then. So, any last words?
I also saw a trailer for Leica's next movie, The Missing
Ooh,
Link.
I
Ooh.
didn't get that one, and I haven't seen
I
it
saw
yet.
it on Facebook.
No, I haven't watched it yet. But I mean, listeners, we've talked about how much we love Leica, so I don't even
Yes.
care what this movie is. I'm
Yes.
gonna see it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, honestly, the trailer wasn't too impressive to me. Like, the trailers for Paranorman and Coraline and Kubo were really, like, mind-blowingly good. This one, it looks cute and funny, but I don't know. I'm gonna go see it anyway because it's Leica. I will see anything they make to support that studio. Please keep making movies.
Please.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I don't know much about Missing Link except that it seems kind of unfortunate that Smallfoot just came out like last month, and they're kind of similar, both about a Bigfoot.
A little bit,
but we'll see.
Yeah, sorta.
All right, listeners, I think that's all. So thank you once again for listening. Sorry for our weird hiatus there. We're trying to get back on track. So anyway, I'm your host, Becca McGraw. You can find all of my fine works on rebexorcist.com or on my Patreon under Rebexorcist. Give me money.
And I'm Carrie Dreblow, YouTube's animation critic. I need to get, and also YouTube's Cheetah King 243. I'm plugging that channel because I'm going to try to make some more videos for it, which I haven't in like a year and a half now, but I'm going to. Animation critic, all one word, and CheetaKing 243, also YouTube. Anyway.
Yes. And I'm Jason Knott. You can find my reviews, including The Grinch, in all its written glory, on my review blog on Blogger, whatever reviews.
Sign off. Play
it
out.
Woo! That's it. Goodbye. I think she cut out.
Did you cut out?
Hello?
I don't know if she's still talking.
Oh no! I'm still recording.
Carrie, I think you cut out.
I'm still talking, damn it!
Carrie.
Okay.
No!
I'm pretty sure it recorded on your end. It just cut out on ours.
Hello?
What you were saying,
Did your...
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Okay. I bet you made an excellent
No,
point.
I was just saying, I mean, like, this scene, I definitely still felt the feels.
I just posted the Grinch. How you guys feel? You're both clammed up.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no. my little angel. Oh, that. Oh, no. Oh, I'm glad this is all going I'm glad this is all going out of that episode.
Is it, though? Anyway.
Yes, it is. We released on YouTube. I can post it in the video.
Yay!
Oh, no. little
we'll
extra bit for you who watch on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll put it in the outtakes. Anyway,
It's the OVA for the fans.
Oh my God.
God.
That's just the best one. There's more, but back on track. Back on track.